Good evening and welcome, everybody. It's Thursday. We got Operator Starsky here, and we're going to give it the Ukraine update, the way we always get to it. There's been quite a bit going on, and so, as usual, I'm just going to turn right to Operator Starsky, give us the lowdown on what's happening, and we'll get into things. Operator Starsky.
Hi, everyone. Operator Starsky here, and today we have a small update on events in Ukraine situation from the front lines. I would say that we can see a small de-escalation on the front lines due to Russian forces being exhausted pretty much, and that's, by the way, is proved by British intelligence agency. Russians are running out of men and vehicles as well. We can see more and more those old tanks being brought to front lines that being restored from storages. And on numerous videos, we can see that those tanks even lack dynamic armor, dynamic protection against rockets. And recently, Lavrov, which is a foreign minister in the terrorist organization known as Russian Federation, stated that Russia is going to expand its territorial interests in Ukraine. So, as you probably remember, this whole invasion started in Ukraine because Russians claimed that they want to protect people of Donbass that were occupied by Russia since 2014, and currently they changed their goals in Ukraine, and Lavrov claimed that the Russia is going to take such regions as Zaporizhia, Kherson, and a bunch of others. Of course, nobody had any doubt that Russians want to take whole Ukraine. At the beginning, they even attempted to capture Kyiv, as we know, but they failed. And now they claim totally different thing. But what do those statements mean? Actually, according to different experts here in Ukraine and on the West as well, we know that Russians don't have enough force to capture those regions, no matter how hard they try. And probably this statement was made in order to have some kind of advantage during the upcoming negotiations that are going to take place sooner or later, and probably this is the way Russians are trying, to bluff, so to say. And recent news of today is that the UK is going to pass a lot of howitzers and anti-tank weapons, as well as UAVs, to the armed forces of Ukraine, which is absolutely great because we need a lot of those. So, according to Minister of Defense of the UK, hundreds of UAVs and 1,600 anti-tank weapons are going to be passed to Ukraine during the upcoming weeks. And about 20, even more than 20 self-propelled artillery systems, M109, 36 artillery systems L119 will be brought to Ukraine from the UK, which is awesome. This means much more demilitarized orcs in the nearest future. And currently, because of the support from our Western allies, we have more and more advantage over Russian troops on the front line, which is absolutely fantastic. Also, senators from Republic and Democratic parties in the US attempt to adopt a new resolution that recognizes Russian atrocities in Ukraine, a genocide of Ukrainian people. And most probably soon this resolution will be adopted by the US. So those are most of the news of today. And if you have questions, you are more than welcome to ask your questions. Thank you very much.
Cool. Yeah, and I wouldn't hesitate to add, if you got a minute, head over to some government website and send them a letter urging them to up spending so we can send more and more hardware, right?
Yeah, I totally support that.
Yes, a very, very good thing. Let's see here. Where do we start? I think we got some questions in. We can look through. I know I wanted to, I'm trying to bring up my notes here, and I've forgotten where I stored them, so I'm going to stumble for a second.
I can save you if you want.
Please do. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I found them too. Go ahead.
Just a very quick one from me, Starsky. So this is a very personal question as well. So as schools close for the summer, parents are looking to send their children to summer camps for cheap childcare, as they can't obviously go into school 8 till 4 anymore. So this may include an influx of Ukrainian children at the types of holiday camps that I personally work at. Do you have any advice for childcare workers such as myself as to how to treat and deal with those Ukrainian kids coming from a war zone?
Just a small joke here. So, okay, so not sure if it happens like in the real life, but I've heard like one of the urban myths. So let's call it this way. So, there was a Ukrainian couple on the West, and they sent their kid to a local kindergarten. And at some point, the teacher called their parents and told them that their kid had some kind of psychological issues, so to say. And when they arrived to the kindergarten, the teacher told them that the kid was running after other kids, shouting "Die, die," and everybody was like shocked. So the thing is that in Ukrainian language, the word "die" means give it back.
Okay, this is very important. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, just remember, treat our kids like any other kids, and yeah, there's like language barrier. Just be okay with that. I mean, everything's fine.
Fantastic. That's exactly what I needed to know. Excellent.
That's brilliant. I love that. If it's okay, I'm going to jump in real fast because I have some super chats and some questions, with some questions attached. We have the first one from Sinsit, who just says, they're, with a member message, says, "Howdy, everyone from Denmark. Hello, it's good to see you. Thank you." And we have Kim Fernandez for $5 American, says, "Happy Thursday afternoon from Texas. Always happy to listen to Starsky's updates." And then we have Level 70 for Canadian $6.99, says, "Starsky, are you one of those mutant super Ukrainian soldiers created in a biolab which is causing Russia so much trouble, or just a nice ordinary guy?" So thank you very much, everyone.
Good question. I am not sure about labs. I know about the black magic, so probably the black magic was involved into this somehow. And by the way, on my YouTube channel and on my Twitter, I posted this small announcement for everybody who supports Ukraine. So I'm collecting videos and photos from all around the world about supporting Ukraine. So in case there's some kind of charity event in your city, in your town, in your location, and you have pictures of or videos or pictures of Ukrainian flags on the streets or whatever, you can send them to my specifically created email, which is called blackmagic.ua@gmail. And yeah, I will be more than happy to receive those videos and pictures, and I want to share them with Ukrainian public, of course, to boost morale. And of course, I want to recognize those people who support Ukraine around the world, because those people are amazing, and I want to do everything to make those people recognized. So please don't hesitate. If you have those videos and photos, just send them to blackmagic.ua at gmail. Thank you so much.
We should give a shout out to Samantha W. there for sort of inspiring this in some way with the drawings from her kids.
Yeah, that's true. That was stunning, actually. Again, because we have received, we were receiving a lot of such drawings from Ukrainian kids, but when I saw completely like same or similar drawings, but from kids from abroad, it was stunning. It was something.
Yeah. I love those moments in life, that catches you, right? That's cool. Let's see here. I wanted to go to, there we go. I know where I'm going now. We had a question from Nancy here. It was, "Hello, Operator Starsky. Question. What is happening in the filtration tanks, and will these people be forced into labor, re-education, or killed like Hitler did?"
So those people are being interrogated. What we know for sure is that those people are being analyzed for having connections with Ukrainian armed forces, probably soldiers of Ukrainian armed forces will be blackmailed somehow in case they have their relatives captured and brought to those filtration camps. Also, the main idea of this deportation, which is a known tool of Russia for like centuries is that Russians will be brought to Ukraine instead. So, like they did with Crimean Tatars in 40s, they deported 2 million Crimean Tatars to um, far eastern regions of Russia, and later they brought Russians who settled in the homes of Crimean Tatars, and uh, decades later, they and their kids were claiming that Crimea was always Russian. And the same thing happened in the eastern Ukraine during this artificial famine in 1932, 1933, that was created by Stalin. And Dzerzhinsky, it was implemented in Ukraine, killing more than 10 million Ukrainians. And this genocide in Ukraine is known as Holodomor. So a lot of Russian workers were brought to Donbass instead of those people who died, instead of Ukrainians. And that's one of the reasons why we see the picture that we see today in Donbass.
Okay. We've should we get Aimee in? We've got a couple of chats we could do here.
Yes, please. That would be very good. We've got some super chats. Yay! We've got one from Marco Endler for €5 who says, in the German media, it was written that the Russians are storing weapons at nuclear power plants. How can this be solved? And then we have Level 70 for Canadian $6.99 says, hi, Starsky. Do you know if Russia made a deal with Iran to buy their drones? The last I heard was that Iran wanted to be neutral. And then we had Samantha Williams for New Zealand, $50 says, I saw 2 of the older boys this week and told them that their pictures had been seen, sent, and where they might end up. They were so excited they were jumping up and down. Never seen them like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Brilliant. That's so wonderful, Samantha. Thank you so much, everyone.
So regarding the nuclear plants, yes, as we saw in Chernobyl, for example, Russians use nuclear plants as shelter because they know that we are not going to bomb nuclear plants, obviously, and they are storing their weapons, and their higher command uses captured power plants as their shelter, their headquarters. So basically, I mean, it's possible to to clear those plants from Russian invaders. I think that we will have to besiege them like in medieval times. After the area is liberated, of course, that's like basically one of the ways. In my personal opinion, again, I'm not a general yet, but that's what I would do. And another question was regarding Iran. So our foreign minister contacted the ambassador of Iran here in Ukraine, and he assured our minister that yes, Iran is against the war, and it's going to be neutral, and it doesn't support Russian invasion and war and things like that. But after Putin's visit to Iran, their minister made a statement that Iran is going to. There was like a couple statements. First of them was that they're not going to sell their drones and missiles to Russia, but another statement was made that yes, they are going to trade. They are prepared to trade their weapons with their so-called allied countries. And one of their biggest allies, of course, is Russia. So we will keep an eye on that. I hope that the reasonable way of thinking will prevail, and they will not trade weapons. One of the ways for Iran to trade weapons with Russia covertly is to sell them to Syria and later pass them to Russia this way, which seems plausible. But I hope that it won't happen, of course. And for some reason, I think that, yes, Iran won't sell those weapons to Russia.
Hope not.
Yeah. Because actually, Iran has like huge opportunities. Iran can sell oil and gas to Europe, basically. And this will remove all kinds of sanctions. And this will bring Iran, into modern society and develop partnership and stuff. So it's much more beneficial for Iran to actually trade with West, with Europe, and sell their resources. I mean, everybody will benefit from that.
It makes complete economic sense. And that being one of the big drivers in the world, it cannot be ignored. Come on, right?
Yeah, totally. So they would supply Europe with their resources. People of Iran will definitely benefit from that. And because in modern world, and I keep repeating this over and over again, you cannot survive through isolation. You will only survive through trade, through partnership, sharing, different inventions in medicine, in science, and that's the only way for civilized countries to develop, and that's awesome in my opinion. So I think that they should, and I hope that they will consider that.
Yeah, agreed. In the modern day and age, to be economically isolated is crippling. I just can't see that not being considered at the highest level of the discussions.
Yeah, and plus the more Russia is trying to push here in Ukraine, the more it gets isolated, and plus Russia cannot fight against the whole world. It's no, you cannot win against the whole planet that supports Ukraine.
Yeah, agreed. Maybe we should get Aimee and see if she's around here. I do believe we've got her handy.
Yes, we do. We do have a super chat that is ready. We've got one from Blue Neptune for 20 American dollars. Says, Starsky, your goal, keep on driving after this removal of the orcs. You will be a general. Just stay safe. Thank you so much. It's brilliant.
Good one.
God forbid. I mean, I was just kidding about becoming a general. No, I don't want to. I don't want that.
Oh, the stress and pressure of a job like that, I can only imagine in a situation like this. Wow. Wow. You got to be made of granite, chiseled in the art of the game. And oh, wow. Just wow. Impressive.
Yeah, I'm not that kind of, human. I don't have enough skills and traits to become general. You gotta be born a general, in my opinion.
Indeed. So Dave, is there any questions you wanted to get to there? I do believe we got a few goodies.
A couple of very interesting ones. Julie Estorp, a regular here, hello to you. We are collecting supplies to Ukrainian soldiers. One thing they asked for was sleeping bags for winter. So how much -Celsius must the bags be able to protect against?
Sometimes in Ukraine we have like minus 35, but of course our soldiers don't. In most cases, of course, they don't sleep just outside in winter. So we're trying to use our tents and camps and stuff like that. So probably something like minus 16, minus 15, minus 16, I would say. That would be great.
That's interesting.
question.
I never even thought of that. Yeah, that's a good question. Eric Pitts has also asked, I'd like to buy some land in the Donbass. Can Americans purchase land in Ukraine?
We tried to adopt such a legislation, but I don't remember if we did actually, because yeah, I'm a military. I'm not very kind of. I don't have expertise in
Not a
this
state
area.
agent.
Yeah. And Bob asks about Arma. I see. So before the war, I played Arma, and after the beginning of the war, I realized that unlike games like Call of Duty and Battlefield and Counter-Strike, Arma is very inconvenient. It's like you cannot run forever. You cannot shoot precisely. You like everything is so not convenient in this game. So it's literally like in real life. So I can say that Arma is one of the most realistic games about war. So yeah, in case you want to like at least understand how it feels, because like in most cases you don't see people who shoot at you because they're hidden somewhere, and everything in this like everything around you is trying to kill you, including like soil and dirt and mud and that don't let you either dig trench or rains that flood your trench and whatever, and snakes. We had our trenches full of those I don't know how you call them in English. They're like we had vipers, and we had non-toxic snakes, but there were a lot of them. And yeah, and basically Arma a bit looks like a real life, but of course yeah, you have to experience it yourself, because in real life you cannot just press a button and run forward forever.
Yeah. Wouldn't if only, right?
Yeah.
Aimee, did you want to? And we just had a second, so it's a perfect time to get Aimee over because we have a really good shout out.
Yeah, we do. Thank you so much. First off, we have Kim Fernandez. Welcome to Shillmaster. Thank you so much. She's a new member. Welcome to the family. Thank you. Welcome. And then we have a super chat from Annabelle Pineda for $4.99. American says, when the war started and you cannot buy no line in Ukraine, that was the law by the president, because a lot of people will take advantage of that. Thank you so much, Annabelle. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Very cool. And yeah, let's dive right into a couple more of the questions we've got. We've got some good ones still, I do believe, here.
Sure, I can take them if you like.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's more of a comment from Ugly German Truths. Can't they just use burning Russian tanks to stay warm? Or have they already destroyed those?
We can, but the problem is that they stink. I mean, I have no idea what they were eating, but they stink very bad. And for example, in Hostomel, there's still a bunch of those ruined houses that not cleaned, and the smell is incredible. So yeah.
I've also got a question I've been trying to ask for a while. I just keep forgetting to ask it. After the war, how does Russia repair its relationship with Ukraine?
Mass suicide.
Yeah, reading my thoughts basically. In order to repair their relationship with Ukraine, because okay, we realize that sooner or later the war will end, and we will not be killing orcs, and Ukrainians as well will have to understand that okay, the war is over, we are victorious, and we should not kill more orcs, obviously, and we will have to accept this fact somehow, but I'm 100% sure that those relations will never be repaired unless they are forgotten by our widows and orphans, which is not the case.
That'll take a while, man. You know, this is it's not like both sides were being provocative towards each other and it built up and became something. This is just them being complete fucks. It's going to take a lot to wipe that stain away.
Yeah, true. And of course they will have to repair our cities that they shelled and bombed, and you see, no money can bring our relatives back from dead. That's for sure. And
that's right.
I have no idea what they have to do, but they will have to do a lot. They will have to bring our deported people back. They will have to rebuild our lands. They will have to repair our infrastructure and stuff like that. And I'm sure that they will have to do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you trust them to build it, looking at the build quality of all of their weapons and tanks and everything else?
Dear God. Yes. One of the building site managers from Ukraine walks over and says, "I'm sorry, but concrete and cardboard are two different materials. What are you doing?" You know.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. But I think that otherwise they will have to give us resources to rebuild that, and they have a lot of international trials waiting for them.
I can see that coming. And it really only takes one to start and the floodgates will go, right?
Yeah, true. What Russians don't realize yet is that invading Ukraine is like taking a big loan that you cannot repay. And sooner or later, you will have to give it back, and this time is coming. And repaying loans, if you had a loan, you know what it means. It sucks. Mm-hmm. And I've been there too. So it sucks. And soon they will understand that, oh my God, they signed, a very bad contract by invading Ukraine.
Indeed. And a little late to the party, but happy to have him. Charlie's made it. Charlie, how's it going your way, buddy?
It's going fine. It's going fine. How's everybody doing?
Oh, good. You know, we're just doing some of the questions and whatnot. We had a good one on sleeping bags nobody saw coming. It was awesome. Let's dive back into a couple more, and then, we'll just kind of, make it what we want until Starsky's got to go. It won't be a longer stream like normal, like we've been doing lately. Starsky's got to make sure he's up super early for some stuff in the morning and yada, yada, blah, blah. Life happens. I mean, he is kind of a busy guy. So tonight's stream won't be that long for sure.
And the question regarding the sleeping bags, yeah, it was great because Sometimes we have very low temperatures in Ukraine. I remember in 2016 we've been deployed near Stanitsa Luhanska, and we've spent a whole winter there. There was a span of the border where Russians had their military exercise, and this span was dangerous because their tanks could pass there, and that's why we've been deployed there. And it was hilarious. We had like minus 35 Celsius at some point, and I remember when I was outside, I had this kind of scarf, wrapped around my face, and when I tried to breathe, the steam would just go up, and my eyelashes would glue together. So I couldn't even see, because of the frost, and it was hilarious. So yeah, sometimes I think that our ancestors did something wrong, because we live in a country where you have to wear like 2 pairs of pants for like half a year, and Canadians would definitely understand me. Yeah, but
Oh yes.
yeah, but we can play plenty snowballs and stuff.
It's not as hard to stay warm in winter when you're like out camping and hunting and stuff and whatnot, as people imagine if they've not done it before. It's not actually that difficult.
Yeah, fighting in winter is another challenge, because
Oh, it must be.
you're getting sweaty. After some time, you're getting very, very cold, and and you have to change your thermal underwear, and in most cases you don't have such opportunity, so you have to freeze before it's dry on you, and in case it's like minus 30 outside, it's kind of challenging.
That's my version of hell.
Yeah, true.
Just a quick question, jumping on the back of that then. Is there a certain temperature where your weapon doesn't work anymore?
Like plus 1,000.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
You can go that low. So you were saying something like minus 35 earlier, and it can still function as a gun, because I just don't nothing about
Well,
weapons, really.
guns don't afraid low temperatures, but guns tend to overheat. So, for example, AKS-74U, which is a small version of AK-74. It's used by our tank crews and policemen. So it's like a short AK, right? And its main downside is that when you shoot like 2 magazines, it gets overheated very fast, and the precision of fire decreases, and it just starts spitting bullets like
Yeah.
at a range of 50 meters, something like that. So overheating, that's the biggest problem in all weapons.
The isn't that where the whole 3-shot doom, and then you make sure you got your aim again, is kind of derived around accuracy but also care of the weapon long term?
On the front lines, you mostly shoot single shots. There's there's no sense in automatic or burst fire, because maybe on in close combat, I mean like very close, like like during cleaning the trenches, or cleaning the house from Russian invaders. Yeah, that makes sense. But in most cases, when you hear people shooting bursts, then you realize that something is wrong. So those people may be in trouble.
Makes sense. We've got a couple of chats we can get to here. If Amy's handy, we'll run through.
Yes, please, if we can. That would be brilliant. Thank you. We've got one from level 70 for Canadian $6.99. How will Ukraine handle Russia's planned annexation of occupied territories? Once to annex, Russia can use their nukes since it's part of their doctrine. Then we've got Sam W. donated Canadian $32.12. If anyone is interested in learning how long Russia has been fucking over Ukraine, I recommend reading The Gates of Europe by Serhiy Plokhy. It goes back so much further than you would think. And then we have Bremner's Ghost for £5 sterling says Ukraine now has as many troops training or under arms than Russia has to defend their other borders. Longer this war goes on, the stronger Ukraine is. And then we've got a super chat from Ren Od for €10 who says, hello, Operator Starsky and all. Thank you for what you do. What do you think about last dead horse face? Lavrov threatens about no limitation to east of Ukraine. Thank you so much, everyone.
Horse face.
Yeah, I know. That's brilliant. Thank you so much, everyone.
Sad horse face. Yeah, that's how we call him here. Let's start with the beginning. The nukes. Yes, that's the problem. Of course, we hope that Putin gets overthrown by that time, and you see, the biggest hope for us, for the whole world, is for Russians to finally wake up and do something before this world turns into a nuclear desert. As for their lack of personnel, so recently we have received information that Russians are bringing, and we have already evidence like patches and stuff. So Russians brought personnel from bases that were located on Kuril Islands near Japan. So those soldiers that were basically guarding those islands that were taken from Japan, they were brought across the whole continent to Ukraine because they lack personnel. And I have photos actually from our front lines. Our guys found those patches on dead bodies that belong to units that are located on Kuril Islands. So you can imagine what kind of deficit of personnel they have. So yeah, and the latest and as for the sad horse face, well, I already answered this question. So he's bluffing because they want to have some kind of advantage in terms of upcoming negotiations. So when they claim that they didn't even start to fight yet and they will take whole Ukraine, you must understand that they are desperate. We got to learn how to read their messages, actually.
Yeah, let's give Horseface the old grubby dance here. Charlie, you wanted to jump in there, buddy.
Yeah, Starsky, I was just curious about piggybacking off last week, just seeing how Chris is getting along.
So Chris is doing fine. He will. Okay, I'm not going to discover our plans. Soon you will learn everything yourself, and soon I will.
Cool.
In a month probably I'll make another video with Chris, and he's going to do something very, very useful for our brigade, by the way.
Awesome.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Exciting. Can't wait. Awesome.
Does it involve a sniper rifle at all?
It involves funeral agencies.
Yeah. Just wait till he gets on the fucking tiger and then go for it.
Nice one.
Let's see here. I wanted to go over to. There were still some questions I wanted to get to that were pretty good in there. Level 70 had a good one. I thought it piggybacked well with the sleeping bags and all. But does Ukraine have winter camo?
We have such kind of clothes that are worn over our usual camo, and yes, it has a winter camo. And by the way, National Guard recently changed its camo, so we were wearing olive uniforms, and now we're wearing this special pattern that was designed by Ukrainian specialists, and we call it Predator. And this pattern was used by special forces of the National Guard of Ukraine, and now it's being adopted by all units of the National Guard. And it's awesome. It's completely awesome. I love it. So yeah, that's some news from Ukraine. Yeah.
Cool. Let's see here. Wrong room again. I keep doing that. I've got the worst aim today. It feels like for some reason when I rebooted my computer pre-show that Windows sped up the DPI of my mouse, and it's just this jerky, insane thing. I don't know what the hell's going on, but it was too early pre-show to bother fixing it. Anyway, I'll stop babbling, huh? Mr. E was asking, Operator Starsky, have you managed to get your hands on a VSS or an AS Val? If so, what do you think of those weapons?
We have plenty of those, and we even had them since Hostomel campaign. So they're not bad. They use this special ammunition, so the bullets are very heavy. The speed of such a bullet is smaller than the speed of sound. So those weapons that VSS is the sniper rifle used by Russian special forces, and Val is like assault rifle, and they both look similar. It's basically like AR-10 and AR-15. One is a sniper rifle, another is an assault rifle, but they basically the same. Same here. Same systems, same suppressors, and one is shooting basically single rounds, and another one can shoot bursts. So yeah, they use heavy bullets that travel slower than the speed of sound. That's why they're completely silent. But they're heavy enough, so yeah, they can bring some damage. And actually, they were using those weapons against us during that combat in Hostomel. So we would literally hear like those bullets knocking into like walls and concrete around us, but we didn't hear like shots. So yeah, they're not bad, and I would say that they're much better than their AK-12s because they suck. They are rotting a lot, but again, I'm not sure like if those weapons have like nice precision, and I'm not sure about the range. I think that AK still has much greater range, again because of the speed of the bullet, and you can only use those rifles on a shorter range, like probably 300 meters, 400 meters max. while AK can be used on a greater distance. So it's not very effective to shoot AK at like 1 kilometer, of course. But on the other hand, we had such cases actually. But on the other hand, the distance of the so-called straight shot in AK-74 is 400 meters. So you don't even have to change your aim, your mechanical aim, to shoot at such a distance, which is awesome. Yeah, we had such a case. I think in 2017 we were shooting our DKG at Russian position, which was like 2,800 meters away from us, and the range of DKG is like 3,800 meters, which is a lot. And those idiots were shooting back at a distance of 2,800 meters, and the maximum range of AK is 3,000 meters. Of course, nobody uses this assault rifle at this distance, but those idiots did. And it was kind of funny. Yeah.
Let's see here. Dave, you got any questions pinned that you wanted to get to? I was just in the middle of something and I am nowhere near prepared.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Eric's got another great question. Eric Pitzer. How much is Ukraine paying soldiers in the Foreign Legion in US dollars?
I think that the salary is around the same that Ukrainian soldiers receive. And currently they receive something like, let's see, wait a minute. I'm bad with mathematics. Something like $700 monthly plus $1,000 extra. It's like for everybody, but those who fight on the front lines and involved in active combat, they receive like $3,000 extra. It's not a big money in like the eyes of Westerners, but you must understand that everything in Ukraine is very, very cheap. So, for example, I don't remember the last time I had beer, but I think that you could buy a bottle of beer for like around $1 here, and it's a good beer. And yeah, so everything is very cheap, and we have very nice food that you can buy for a very low price here.
Do you not like beer, or you just haven't been able to have any?
I'm not a fan. Not now. And by the way, I didn't drink like anything since beginning of this invasion. I will be drinking a lot after it's finished, of course.
Damn right.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not a fan of beer. I prefer rum, and
Me too.
yeah. So we have this saying that if you're drinking rum in the morning, it means that you're not an alcoholic. It means that you're a pirate.
Pretty sound logic. Pretty sound logic.
Awesome logic.
I love it. Oh, that's funny.
And then by the evening, you're like, where's the rum gone? Oh, there was another question I could throw out there as well from Johan van Zanten. I wasn't quite sure what this meant. What is harakiri in Russian?
Harakiri, it's like seppuku. It's like the those who study Japan, they know this. So samurai had this tradition. In order to save their honor, they would kill themselves. And
kamikazes, kind of.
no, not kamikazes. It's like so when you have so if you're a samurai and you violated some kind of law, for example, you had to fight against another samurai, which was prohibited, and you killed him. You saved your honor, but you violated the law. So they would kill themselves. And Japan has, like medieval Japan, during this period of samurais, they had this cult of death, this specific philosophy, which is, by the way, very, very deep and very interesting. You can read about it in Bushido, the Codex of Samurai, and I highly recommend this book. It's very interesting in order to understand the way of, those samurai lived and the way they perceived the world. Actually, it's very interesting, so to say.
That does sound interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's I guess a degree of logic behind that.
Yeah.
But then again, there isn't as well. So,
yeah. There is a little duality to that, I will admit as well. Let's see if Aimee's around. We got a couple in. Starting strong here.
Yes, please. Definitely. We've got one from Garth McKeel for Canadian $10. Says, Starsky, we'll try to get you some photos of all the various Ukrainian support flags flying here in small town coastal British Columbia. Thank you so much. That would be brilliant. And then
BC BC represent. All right.
Excellent. And then we have Springvale Light for $2. What is the purpose of interrogations? And then we have a third one, which is, got to switch for this one, from Mystery for £5 sterling. Says, thanks for answering my question, Operator Starsky. Good fortune to you and all of the members of Ukrainian Armed Forces. Havana Club 7 rum is great, by the way. Thank you so much, everyone.
Good choice.
Thank you. So what's the purpose of interrogation? In case it's like interrogating a POW, regardless if it's our soldier that was captured by orcs or vice versa. So it's literally to first of all receive his details, so we could add him to the list of captured prisoners, so we could exchange him later, because it's important. We're capturing POWs in order to exchange them for our POWs, which is logical. And of course, another thing is to learn, important information regarding his unit, regarding their number, regarding their morale, which is very, very important to understand, to learn our enemy. And in case you mean the interrogation of people that were deported to Russia, so the purpose is to learn whether those people, whether they have connection with Ukrainian armed forces, whether they are important in Ukraine, so they could be exchanged or used to bring some kind of goals. So for example, if they capture some kind of CEO, they can use that for some kind of benefit.
Mm-hmm. There was one I wanted to get here. Rodent last name put in breaking news. Turkey has signed a grain export deal with Ukraine. Correction, deal reached, not signed yet. That could be good stuff. That
could be
good.
great. Yeah.
You know, that helps serious amounts of people, right? This is huge, you know.
Yeah, also, as
Money,
far
money.
as I remember, recently Hungary stated that it will also open its territory for Ukrainian supplies of grain to reach other countries, which is awesome.
Excellent. Because that's we're not talking about a few dollars here. We're talking about the kind of money that makes a fucking difference, right?
Yeah, true. Also, Russian, I'm not sure if it's Skabeeva or Simonyan. So one of their propagandists, it's one of those two. She said that, yeah, they will take Ukrainian grain and trade with those who deserve it. Meaning that we will only trade with countries that behave well regarding to Russia.
Nice. I mean, more pressure the merrier. It's perfect.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, I'm not sure if it was Lavrov. I'm sorry, I'm old. I have problems with memory. So he said that Ukraine has plenty of grain, and he said that in Kherson there will be harvesting season, and Russia will be supplied with grain. So he literally admits that they are stealing Ukrainian grain.
Jesus, eh?
Aren't they also destroying it where they can?
Sorry?
Aren't they also trying to destroy crops where they in any place they can manage to?
Actually, we have pictures. I posted in my YouTube. There was like grain field, like wheat field, completely burnt down, and there was like picture taken from a drone from above, and you can see plenty of artillery craters on the field. So yeah, we have information that they are trying to burn those fields on Ukraine-controlled territories as well.
Jesus, the fuck. Let's take a couple here for some chats and whatnot. We got Aimee all ready to go here, and we'll get some shouts done.
There we go. Thank you so much. We have one from Critter John for $4.99. Says, how does civilian captured armor work? Do you just hand it to the nearest TDF unit, or are there special tank for cash stores you can bring them to? We have Susie Q for $15 American, who says, wish could stay. Loving those depot fireworks. Stay safe, Starsky. Blessings to all. Special shout out and hugs to coroners of Ukraine caring for all of the bodies. Has to be horrifically challenging.
Wow.
Then we have, no kidding, yeah. And then we have Mackenzie Zobrist for $10 American. Says, greetings from Oregon. Have you watched any of Vladimir Zholkin's POW interviews? It makes me so mad when the parents say they don't want to get involved with politics. War isn't politics. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, I truly agree on that. War is not politics. It's like either you support murder or you stand against it.
Yes.
It's not politics. You cannot just stay aside and pretend nothing happens. Especially here in Ukraine, when we have missile alarms like almost every day. And when you hear one, you can imagine that at this point a missile is killing people. some people die somewhere in Ukraine, in other region,
Yes.
or yours. So this is war. It's not politics. And war in Ukraine is based on hatred towards Ukrainians. As for those vehicles captured by civilian farmers, our special force unit, in most cases, of course, those tanks are transferred or given to our armed forces. One of the reasons is that you cannot use tanks to process your field. It's impossible because fuel is very expensive. Tanks consume a lot of fuel. It's not reasonable at all. And on the other hand, we have cases when people would keep some vehicles. So farmers, I think near Mykolaiv, captured Russian Uragan artillery system, and it's a multiple rocket launch system. It's like huge truck with those tubes mounted on the top. And our army said that unfortunately they cannot use it because they don't have rockets for this Uragan, and this guy can keep it to himself. So, and he made a picture, a selfie in front of that Uragan, and sent it to his relative in Russia, which was a bit funny.
Oh, I'm gonna just jump into the questions there because there was another one and I wanted to get Kim Fernandez, new member tonight, Shill Master. Thank you very much again. I've been curious. What are the rents and costs of housing? Like, are things astronomical? Has it gone crazy? What's going on that way?
Like renting an apartment or like buying?
Yeah.
So the prices went down a bit, but like last week, I was curious about prices for apartments in Hostomel. Basically, they are the same as those before invasion. So I cannot say that the apartment becomes much pricier. Probably it's opposite.
That's good, because it would be disheartening to think that people would look to make extra profit off the fact that they've got what other people need, a place to be. Like, that would be awful.
Yeah, true. And for example, if you want to rent a one-room apartment in Hostomel, it's gonna cost you something around $500 for 2 months, because when you're renting an apartment here, you're paying for the first and the last month, no matter how many months you're staying. So it's like $500, and you can find an apartment and rent it and accommodate in this apartment in like a couple hours. So yeah, and by the way, now I know people that offer those apartments. So if you're going to Hostomel, I can advise you some. Of course, I'm joking, because I will probably have no time for that. But that's the price you could understand.
The pre-show chat, needing a bit more sleep in life. Here, let me be your real estate agent. I've got time.
Yeah, true.
But I know what you're getting at. It's the price wise though. I mean, geez, where I live, I have what would be considered a small 2-bedroom townhouse. Like the bedrooms are upstairs and the living room, kitchen, dining room, in little areas downstairs, and it works out to be close to $1,400.
God.
Yeah. But I mean, Charlie, you've seen where I live. There's a reason, right? I mean, it's like Canada's Monaco, you know.
Well, Kyiv is a very expensive city, actually. One of the most expensive cities in Europe, even despite the fact that everything else is so cheap. So, in case you're working like in Europe and living in Ukraine, is awesome because the prices are so cheap here. And we have a lot of like services that a lot of people in Europe don't have. So, for example, you can send any amount of money between bank accounts, between bank cards, using your smartphone. And if you want to send your mother or your wife some money, so she could like buy food or clothes or whatever, you can do it using your you can do it using your smartphone, and it takes like a couple of seconds, and things like that. So banking in Ukraine is very much developed. So we have PayPal recently entering Ukrainian territory. But before PayPal, because PayPal makes it easier to buy things like on Amazon, eBay, any other site. But in general, in Ukraine, you can make plenty of operations with your finance, with your bank account, using only your smartphone, and it's very, very convenient here. So you don't have to go to bank, and for example, we have this bank called Monobank in Ukraine, and this bank doesn't even have a physical office. So you can order your card online, and you will receive it through email, through mail. So you will receive your card through mail, and then you will activate it and use it, and it's one of the best banks in Kyiv, in Ukraine.
Cool. I think we've got some chats built up. I'm not sure if Amy's ready. I didn't check in the background first there, but I know we got a couple in.
Yes, we do. Please. We definitely have some super chats ready. We have one from Springvale Light who says, for $2 American, who says, why can't Russia destroy Kiev? Is he bluffing? Then we have one from Level 70 for Canadian $6.99. And that one is, has the counteroffensive to retake Kherson started yet? There is very little news coming out. Then we have Emperor, who donated Canadian $3.95, who says, question for Starsky. Did you meet any of my fellow Croatians? Do they fight good? I know some are in Donbass since 2014. If there are Serbs fighting on one side, there is almost 100% a Croat on the other side, just to fuck them up. Slava Ukraini. Thank you so much, everyone.
So Russians attempted to take Kyiv. Of course, their offensive towards Kyiv failed big time because of Hostomel. So they weren't able to land their cargo airplanes because my glorious brigade proudly destroyed the runway using our artillery and killed a bunch of their paratroopers. So they couldn't use airport in order to create this air bridge. So they had to come to Hostomel by land, and they had plenty ambushes and artillery strikes on their heads and stuff like that. So they failed. But they kept promising, to take Kiev in just 3 days, even though it took them a month before they retreated. I kept receiving a lot of commentaries from Russians on YouTube as well. It's like, we didn't even start to fight. Just wait for us and we will come and get you in Kiev. And oh my God. So I've been waiting for like a month, and then they performed a negative advance towards Kiev, if you know what I mean, and GTFO'd from all the northern Ukraine in the end, because there was a risk for their troops near Kiev to actually get surrounded. So yeah, and as for Croatians, yes, we have information that a lot of those volunteers are fighting, and they've been supporting Ukraine since the very beginning, since 2014, 2015, those years. We also have information that a lot of snipers from Serbia supported Russians again since the very beginning of this war. So yeah, I think that coming to Ukraine is a very nice opportunity for our Croatian brothers and sisters, to finish what has to be finished, so to say.
Yeah, very much. I have just been handed something, exclusive footage through the Shills News Network, and we have an expert in past lives who now has a theory on who Putin actually could be reincarnated.
Could it be Satan?
That has been the Shills News Update.
Yeah, nice one. Actually, there is like old drawing in a church somewhere picturing Satan that looks exactly like Putin. Just give me a minute and I will send it to you.
Okay, perfect. There was somebody in the chat. What was that from? Gincoli, or I'm not sure if I got that right. Aimee will correct me. That's old Saturday Night Live.
Yes,
When
it
it was
is.
good.
That's Dana Carvey.
Yeah, church lady.
Yes, the church lady. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Oh, okay. Here. Let me get that
so I
link
have
up.
it in the chat. Yep.
All right. Oh, cool. Okay. Here, let me get that up. Oh, geez, I didn't mean it like that. Hold on. There we go. Awesome.
Yeah, and this drawing is like something like 500 years old or something like that.
Cool. That would probably go back to the heyday of Catholics and using Satan to keep you under control.
Okay, so this image was made in Italian church in 14th century, and this image pictures Antichrist, and it was made by Vitale de Bologna. The church is called Church of Saint Savior, and wait a second, and it's located in Santa Maria de. Oh, wait a minute. So Santa Maria de Servi is Italian church where this image is located.
It's awesome. It's got a real kind of like there's almost this goofy smile to a spooky thing. You see how that goes, right? It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad at all. Good call.
Got a good one from the chat, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
That's from our own Claire. It says, Operator Starsky, from your perspective, what is the one thing you want us all to take away and fully understand from events this week? It's a good question.
Ooh,
Claire shoots from the hip.
damn right.
Good question. So Patron has a birthday. the little dog. And it's important because it's always important to remember about our smaller brothers, our pets, especially such cute and responsible as Patron. So I would say
Yeah.
that.
Good shout, man. Good shout. There was somebody that said, "Were you guys even? What was the Were you guys even born then?" Blue Neptune said, most of the Shills are all like quite old. We very much were born then." Sadly, it's true.
I think there's only one of us that throws off the average, and that's Inquisitor.
Yeah. You know,
And
like,
What's the average?
well, I mean, I'm in my 50s. DK's a couple years older than me, in his 50s. M2M Matt's a couple, like, in his like mid 50s. Like there's a bunch of us that have got some numbers to us that really pull that average up towards ancient, right?
I'm still in my 30s.
Yeah. See, so you're
Mipet's unmeasurable.
yeah. The dragon that does not age.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're a pretty ancient crew when it comes down to it. Okay, I'm going to do this. I've done this in the chat before, but I'm just going to do it quickly right now. YouTube, please, for the love of God, every time I go to YouTube Studio during the show, I get this pop-up. Right now would be a great time to put an ad into your live stream. We don't put ads in our live streams during the show, and we never fucking will. Just stop it. Please. It's so annoying. It's one extra click every time it pops up to make the fucking thing go away. Nobody watching this show wants us to put an ad in it, and nobody on the show wants us to put an ad in it. Fuck off.
As for the age, I think that members of the Shills must remember how to operate tape cassettes.
Oh yeah.
And phones with discs.
Oh yeah, rotary phones. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My first experience with cassette multi-tracking with music, Starsky, was I was about 10 years old. I'd been playing guitar for about a year, and I had this little boombox ghetto blaster thingy with a dual cassette, and it also had a mic input. So one day I was jamming with my guitar using the mic input to see how bad it would sound like through the speakers while I was dubbing a tape, just jamming along with it. And to my shock, on the recorded tape was not only the regular, I think I was doing Van Halen album or something, Van Halen 2, I can't remember, but my guitar playing was on it as well. And I learned that by flipping the tapes and stuff, I could overdub. So I showed my father, and he thought it was really great. Like I was layering tracks. And so I went in for my next week's guitar lesson, and I said to the teacher, hey, and it was in a guitar store. And I said, hey, check this out. I learned how to like layer my stuff and check out the recording. And he's like, you invented a 4-track with a ghetto blaster. So he took me up into the store and showed me the 4-track recorders, and my dad rented me one, and boom, that started me on like 30 years of my life.
I remember rewinding tapes
Nice.
with a pencil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, or a Bic pen, right? Because they fit perfectly.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody did that. Good old days.
Yeah. Tom in the chat there, I've written code for an 8-bit ticker tape. Oh, wow. Cool. Yeah, I ended up with a Foztex 4-track, and then I got myself an Atari ST computer after a little while that had the SMPTE box and whatnot. So they got me a Tascam 8-track, and it was awesome. I was off to the races. By the time I went to audio engineering school, I could literally sleep during the first 4 months of the fucking courses because I didn't need it. It was funny.
Yeah, and those old computers that used tapes, and it took some time for those computers to load, and they
Yeah.
produced those weird sounds.
Yeah, the modem,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And like back when we had dial-up internet, you would hear the modem go and do all that
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
stuff. That was the exact same method of encoding that we used for cassette loading on 8-bit systems like Spectrums and Commodore VIC-20s and so on. Same thing.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. I could go on all day, but very coming up soon on the Shills, we've got a couple of new shows planned. One of them's going to be technology. We're going to cover retro and new stuff and whatnot. Aimee and I have the autism show about families with special needs kids coming up and so on. We've got some cool shit, so stay tuned for sure. Oh, that was an advertisement. Holy fuck. Maybe I did click the fucking insert an ad here button.
Like and subscribe.
No, we don't do that. Don't do that. I'm too Canadian. I can't get myself to say it.
Like, subscribe, share, and don't forget to press the bell.
We got to record that.
I did a couple animations that we would pop up on screen that would do the whole click like and stuff, and I couldn't even stomach those. I killed them right away. I just can't do it.
Okay, then if you ever need, this kind of advertisement made in Slavic accent, just give me a call.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Hey, yeah, it doesn't count as it's in a foreign language.
Yeah, exactly, right? And then plus I didn't do it.
Starsky did have a pretty good Texas accent too.
Oh, that was so funny. Oh,
Thank
man.
you so much. Actually, I've been secretly learning that.
You guys could literally do a little script, like a back and forth through the email, and prep something for the next week's show that would just bring the house down, man. You guys should.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good idea. Here. Let me do the copy paste stuff so Aimee knows what to say, because we had a cool donation come in.
We did. We have some good things coming in right now, so this is a really good thing.
All right. Well, why don't you take it, and I'll copy this one in for you as we go here.
Oh, thank you. Perfect. Okay, we do have a first donation from Tricky Minx, who donated Canadian $5. They did not leave a message, but if you have one that you want highlighted, just let us know real quick, and we'll get that done for you. Then we have one from DKG for $20 American, who says, "Hi, Starsky. I know the Ukrainian airspace is closed, but air transport will be critical to rebuild when orcs are expelled. Do you know the condition of the country's largest airport, Kiev Boryspil Air International, Slava Ukraini?" Then we have another donation from Tricky Minx, who donated Canadian $10, who said, "Hi, Starsky." It was the same one, a lot like what DKG asked too. What is the condition of the airport there in Kiev? So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, there was a second message from Trixie Minx. It was, "Freedom is never free, but it's worth any price. Both my countries, South Africa and Taiwan, know how important this fight is. Thank you for doing your part in keeping people informed and paying attention. Amandla, Ukraine. Amandla equals power." Ah, cool. Awesome.
Excellent. Thank you
Thanks,
so much,
everybody.
everyone. Yes,
Thank you so much, guys. As for the airports, well, I would say that majority of our airports received a bunch of missile strikes to some extent, and to some extent they are damaged. But I cannot say how much damaged is Boryspil, and well, it takes some effort to to repair damaged runways, because it requires some kind of technology, some kind of specific concrete and stuff. And basically that's the reason why Russians that were occupying Hostomel for a month, they weren't able to repair the runway, because it was damaged and they didn't have that technology, and you cannot just pour any concrete into a hole and wait for it to dry. It doesn't work that way. They tried, they attempted to repair it as far as I remember, because they were bringing some stuff to the runway and tried to do something, but they failed. So Russian airplanes never landed there, and they even attempted to land one on that runway. There was IL 72, IL 76 flying over Hostomel, and they tried to land it on the runway. They failed. It had to return home. So yeah, it takes some technology, but I think it won't be that hard to make all the repairments in like probably a week at max, I would say.
Yeah, big time. Just going over to the question room there was a couple I wanted to get. Hey, MJ had asked, I thought this was a good one. Is it possible at all to harvest grain using modified farm equipment? Armored liberated tank parts and stuff, But, I mean, there might be a case for the fact that you could use engines and so on and so forth out of things if you're not getting parts to keep other things going. You're talking about some real, as the Brits would say, Heath Robinson hookup kind of stuff, but it could be done,
Probably, yeah. I think that some spare parts can be used, but again, tanks are not the best machinery to use for harvesting, of course.
No.
Yeah, they consume a lot of fuel. Those engines are crazy. I mean, you consume more liters than
Yeah. There's no, you don't build in things like efficiency and whatnot in military equipment. You get it out the fucking door and make sure it works. And if you're going to throw an extra X amount of torque and horsepower and make it a thirsty engine, well, you just make sure your supply lines can, supply it, right? I mean, the consideration's completely different.
Yeah, so you cannot use tanks to travel huge distances. The tanks are usually brought by trucks.
Yeah.
To the area, and then they're disembarked, unloaded there, and then they're used. So it's a very bad idea to use those tanks to travel like hundreds of kilometers, because they consume incredible amount of fuel, and they break a lot also because of that.
I'm picturing some Mad Max style tractors with tank tread.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how it starts.
Gallon, but
Sorry, Commander, go ahead.
They don't get miles per gallon. They get gallons per mile.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. It's very much like a boat, right? It's just ridiculous. Absolutely. If we go into the, did you have any, Dave, that you singled out that you wanted to ask? Questions?
There was an interesting one earlier. I mean, it could end up in just us looking around the room and asking, hey, what does this cost? But AK Croat 74 was asking how much are cigarettes?
The cigarettes in Ukraine were very cheap, like probably 5, maybe like 8 years ago. They were very cheap, and that's why, by the way, they were smuggled into other countries. But currently they cost just as much as in any other European country, which is a lot. That's why smoking is bad.
Yeah, I always remember as a kid, we used to go over to France to get duty-free cigarettes for my aunt, who would just have 40 a day, and she would. I mean, it's just a day out for me because I'd never been to a foreign country, but it was quite bizarre. She would have
40 a day. That's like 2 at once.
Yeah, you're literally using the dead one to light the new one. Why bother with a lighter?
Crazy, but yeah, it was huge boxes stacked up in her front room. It's quite bizarre. What are the household items then that have suffered the most in terms of inflation in Ukraine?
Let me see. Diesel fuel is quite expensive nowadays. It's even more expensive than petrol and gas. And gas is the cheapest one, actually. So it went down like 2 times during the last week. I think you could buy a liter of gas because I have, for example, my car uses both petrol and gas. So you could buy like 1 liter of gas for something like like almost $2. And now now it's about $1, maybe even less.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we at the start of the conflict in Canada, we were around 130 a liter for gasoline, and now we're in my area anyway. We're at about $2.10 a liter.
Yeah, and
those numbers in pounds would be exactly the same in the UK. Sorry, Starsky.
Yeah, and diesel is now even more expensive, so it's almost like $2 here. And previously, everybody tried to buy car that uses diesel because it's so accessible and stuff. But now it's a completely different picture. So yeah, I'm happy to own a car that runs on gas and petrol.
Mm. Yeah, level 70 in the chat was just talking about some old school 8-bit computers and whatnot. Absolutely loving it. The fuel cost thing has ramifications across the board right now, though, because there's so much shipping in the world to get the products we want. And wow, is it having an effect?
Yeah, it's true. So we almost thank Mr. Putler for that, I think.
Oh, yeah, big time. Big time. Absolutely. I mean, we should give him the old Sulu salute that we usually do on the show here. Here, this is for you, Putin.
Your intellect is as weak as your dollar. Failure is your destiny. You disrespect yourself and your nation. You are made of stupid.
There we go.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah. He gets that once a show. He just has to. Fucking bitch. Oh. What do we got here? How are we pushing your time constraints? Because I know you don't want to be too late tonight there, Starsky.
It's fine. I think I have like 20 more minutes, if you're okay with that.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Absolutely. We might do an after show after. And for anybody wondering, like all the shit on the screen and whatnot and how we layer it up in what's called OBS, for the after show, if we do it, what I'm going to do is start with a blank screen and literally build it as we hang out and chat so you guys can see how it's done. I thought that'd be a cool idea. What the hell?
Yeah, sounds great.
Nice. Yeah. I'm not going to explain it so much as just do it, because if I explain it, now it's a tutorial and we're not hanging out, and that's bullshit, right? You'll just see it. But yeah, Kim Fernandez, you are made of stupid. It's just the best one, isn't it, Kim? I love it. He's so funny. So let's see. I wasn't sure about I wasn't sure about going to a chat because I did have a question myself. Starsky, you know the story of Steely Dan, the band, Reeling in the Years, that first record, they had never been in the same room together. They just mailed the tapes around, right? So when the war is all done and you've kicked the orcs and, things are starting to get back to normal, I thought it would be a great idea if we did that. We could digitally send the files around and write some songs.
Yeah, sure. And actually, I did that previously, like 10, maybe 15 years ago. We had this song made with one of our hip hop singers here in Ukraine. I did vocals, and he did vocals, and I also did music. And actually, it was nice. Yeah, but I don't like myself singing much. I prefer growling like a demon because
I'm a little more Journey in my vocals, I would say, if I go back to my real influences. But see, the mix will be awesome. It'll be really good because, singing wise, I like somebody who can really sing. But when I'm playing like guitar and stuff, I like it like heavy or like blues, like 70s rock and stuff. So I think that'll come together really nice.
That actually sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, I want it.
I miss singing big time.
Me too. I haven't done one of my little songs or whatever since we did Mipet's I'm a Believer, I don't think. Wasn't that the last one? I'm not even sure. I do.
So I'm a Deceiver, I think.
Yeah. I actually, Deceiver was coming out so weird when I was singing it and it wasn't coming true. I changed it to Denier because it was, and then I did some practicing and I got Deceiver to sound right. So I think I'll re-record it because that's actually the word she wanted. But it was one of those moments in life where it just wasn't working. I can't even explain it.
Yeah, I prefer singing in my car when nobody listens. Even if somebody listens, I don't care. And the vocals, it's like everybody can sing well, but you gotta practice a lot. You gotta train yourself and learn. And it requires time and effort. I took
some vocal training because, to be a professional guitar player through the late 80s into the 90s, you had to be able to sing your fucking backup vocals. Otherwise, you weren't a good band member, right?
Yeah. And by the way, growling and screaming, it also requires quite
big time
practice. Because people don't realize that you cannot scream for like hours without killing your voice completely.
Especially
destroy your vocal cord.
Yeah, but if you're doing it correctly, you can go on tour and survive and you won't stress yourself out and have damage. It really does come down to technique. Like, go back to Pantera. You don't just destroy your throat by singing in your throat. It's still through the diaphragm and everything. It has to be done properly. Absolutely.
Yeah, true. And the day I mastered the fry screaming, it was like the best day of my life. It was like, I realized that with this power, I can swallow planets. It's like so awesome.
I love it.
I mean, now we've got to hear it.
Yeah. Well, maybe what we'll do is we'll play some tunes on the after show, right?
Yeah, why not? Maybe I will upload one of my songs to my music channel today.
That'd be awesome.
We're requesting it. So maybe even today I will have one track.
Starsky, what's some music that you like from that we would know, like, worldwide stuff?
The worldwide stuff. Oh my god.
Like he said, Pantera, stuff like that.
So it's Discarnate, and by the way, I think that's a band from the UK. Discarnate, Bring Me the Horizon, And
I know Bring Me the Horizon. Yeah, I've seen them.
yeah, and they're awesome. I mean, their whole history,
It's an
because
awesome band name
yeah,
too.
they were starting as this hardcore deathcore deathcore band, and then they like progressed and evolved into something else, and like they're awesome, literally. Of course, I'm a big fan of Linkin Park, Chester
Yeah.
Bennington, yeah, Hertz, and like I'm listening to different music. Uh, Everything that sounds nice makes sense, and
Starsky,
yeah.
I just found a bootleg recording off the board of Thelonious Monk playing live. And oh dear God, it is some of the best jazz the world has ever seen. I'm going to send you a link to download it through I'll send you on the email there. You've got to check this out. It is mind-boggling that the guy's just pulling this out of his ass on the moment. It's crazy.
Yeah, sounds great. Sounds great.
I'm a big jazz guy, and this is one it's not so deep that, people just go, what the fuck? And you being a musician, you get it anyway, but it's serious. It's so good.
Yeah, and in my opinion, like, you have to have some kind of specific mentality to be able to play and understand jazz, to
Totally.
think jazz. Yeah,
Oh.
to think jazz.
It's pretty mathematical, really.
It's crazy.
And same thing, by the way, with death metal, because
Totally.
yeah, because it's you cannot just like sit and think, okay, I gotta do like death metal. No, you gotta think death metal in order
trying to hold the real beat of the song when a drummer's fribbing out when you're playing one of those hard death metal songs on guitar is not simple. But we got a few chats. We should get Aimee in and whatnot and get ourselves all caught up and see where we're at.
Yes, please, because they're starting to pile up. This is good. So we've got Zong for 1103 for $10 American says, what are some of the challenges involved in providing clean water to the areas affected by the war? Then we have Samantha Williams for New Zealand, $20, who asks, do you think the separatists still hold the same opinions, or has the invasion possibly changed their minds? And then we also have from our very own M2M Matt for £10 sterling, says, glad to see Russian HQ's ammo dumps and tanks being turned into ash and scrap metal. Ukraine should get into scrap metal trading. They would make a fortune with the wrecked tanks that they have. And we have Mystery for £2 sterling, says, do you like Meshuggah? What's your favorite song? Thank you so much, everyone.
Well, Meshuggah, I don't know, but just judging by the name, I'd have to say Mana Mana.
Yeah, Meshuggah is nice. And by the way, when I made my first track, I've been told that I sound a bit like Meshuggah, which is probably a compliment. I cannot name some specific track because I didn't listen to Meshuggah a lot, but I've seen some of their music videos when they arrive and destroy a party, and it was awesome. As for the water in the occupied territories or front lines, the biggest challenge, of course, is to get our humanitarian convoys to the cities that are blocked by Russian troops. Because we're trying to negotiate a lot, but in most cases they can shoot at those convoys, they can rob those convoys, and we have a lot of cases of Russian troops robbing those convoys. Unfortunately, you probably saw that video where Kadyrovites in March or April were disseminating humanitarian aid among population in Mariupol, and we've been talking about it actually. So viewers, noticed that the humanitarian aid that was disseminated had words on it in Ukrainian. And according to Kadyrov, so he said that his mom ordered him to bring this humanitarian aid to local population of Ukraine and stuff. And his mom was allegedly responsible for this humanitarian aid. She was bringing things from Chechnya to Ukraine. It was a bullshit. So so it turned out that they robbed one of the humanitarian convoys from Ukraine that was coming to Mariupol, and they made another beautiful TikTok video of brave Kadyrovites, giving this humanitarian aid to Ukrainians. And there were words in Ukrainian language on sugar, on flour, on sausages, on everything. So that's one of the biggest challenges, because you cannot trust Russians when you negotiate with them. That's a rule. And even when we are negotiating and coming to some kind of decision, we have to plan what to do in case they violate, what's negotiated. So that's the biggest challenge. And what was the second question?
I was looking for it here in the chat, but I can't find it now because it's gone so fast. It's gone.
I didn't write it down, unfortunately.
Let's see here. There was challenges about providing clean water to the affected areas by the war. Did we address that one?
I just answered that.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. God damn it! My Discord's jumping again. Every time I try to scroll, it's fucked up. You want to take it, Aimee? Yeah.
I think it was the separatist question. I believe it was the one. Do you think that separatists still hold the same opinions, or has the invasion possibly changed their mind?
That's it.
So Russia is wiping out male population of Donbass at this point. And of course, I think that, when wife loses her husband or kids lose their parents, of course, it changes a lot. But on the other hand, it depends on how Russian media explain this to those kids or to those wives. So, that's another story. So, of course, when they explain that, yes, your husband died protecting the independent country of Donetsk, you understand what I'm talking about. And still, I cannot understand how the scale of Russian propaganda that was involved into this separatism, because at some point, imagine you're you're living in the United States, and at some point one of the states goes F you, we are independent, and you're like, what? And they're like, yes, we were always separate nation, and we want to be independent, and we want to join North Korea because they are our brothers. And you're like, did you smoke? And they're like, yeah, we are brothers. So just imagine the scale of brainwashing those people went through in Donbass for all those years, and same in Crimea, and same in Europe, by the way, because again, a lot of people in Europe still fear Russia, Russian army, marvelous Russian weapons, and stuff like that were advertised on TV and stuff. So Yeah, we all fell victims to Russian propaganda to some extent, even myself.
Looking forward to Aimee reading that German super chat.
Yeah, I think their brains are just ticking over. They're just waiting. Nick's gone silent. I can throw in a question if you like. There was one earlier on from Little Wartspout Morgan, who asked, why does Zelensky wear his wedding ring on his right hand and middle finger? Is this a Ukrainian thing?
So in Ukraine, we're wearing wedding rings on right hand, but I'm not sure why he's wearing it on his middle finger. Maybe it's like some kind of his family tradition. I don't know. But we're wearing it on the right.
Is that just Ukraine? I've never heard of that.
You like in Slavic countries, I think.
Huh. New to me. Yeah.
No, hadn't come across that before then.
Yeah, actually, I never paid attention. I mean, if you see somebody wearing a ring on his left hand, I think it means that this person is divorced. Here in Ukraine, for example.
So you're saying there's no pawn shops for the divorced man to get money back on his ring? Okay, I get it. Just kidding.
Well, probably like, if somebody likes his ring or whatever, because it costs a lot, of course. Yeah, but actually, I totally agree with you. I mean, that's the first thing I would do.
Yeah, I mean, mine wasn't all that, super valuable or anything. So I went boating and it's at the bottom of the lake. But, it was an important moment for me. I feel good about it.
Yeah, totally.
Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, right?
Why get? What's the point of getting rid of your wedding ring if you can just sell it and celebrate with a beer and sushi? Like,
yeah,
why not?
My divorce papers are framed. They're in my bedroom on my dresser. Like, no shit, they really are.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Next to your stuffed animals.
Yeah. Well, actually, there is a stuffed animal on the dresser. Felix put it there, so it has to stay there. My son, but I've shown Aimee pictures, like they really are framed. People think I'm just saying that because it's funny, but it's really not. I did it because it's funny for me.
Did you frame it just below the taxidermy of her head? Got stuffed.
Well, looking at the time here, Starsky, should we do a wrap up here? You're probably just about ready, right?
Yeah, that would be nice. Unfortunately,
all right.
Tonight I gotta leave a bit earlier.
Yeah, no worries. I wonder if Aimee's handy, because nobody can do a roundtable wrap up like Aimee can.
Thank you very much. And we do have a super chat before we get to that, too. We had one from Marco Endler for €5, who said, what is your opinion on Dugin? Does he really have such an impact on Russian politics? So I'll let that one go, and then we can get straight into the roundups.
Yeah, so he's a bit like, not like Goebbels for Russians, but something close to that. He's one of those responsible for creating this ideology of Russian world / Russian peace, according to which they are like chosen nation and they give no shit about what the world thinks about them because they're best and strongest and stuff. And in my opinion, when you start thinking that, like my nation is strongest and I don't care about opinion of the rest of the world, it sounds like a problem. Because, some people try. At this point, you can start growing those funny mustache under your nose, and a lot of people tried and they failed, because this is not the way you can live in this world nowadays.
Thank you so much for that. And now we can start on those wrap ups. I am going to start with Charlie Welch. Charlie, what are your thoughts on everything this evening?
Sorry I was late. I needed a haircut. I just wanted to thank Starsky for being Starsky, and I'm just amazed at his ability to keep such a sense of humor and ability to be funny in his surroundings. And thanks.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That's great. Next up, we have Commander 401. Commander, what are your thoughts and wrap ups on this evening?
Well, I just want to say, Starsky, I don't know how you guys do it, how you cope, but I can say this. You're right about telling, once you start telling yourself that you're the best, you're the strongest, you're the this, that, you're the other, then that point you're in trouble. Because, look at World's Second Army. By the end of the year, they're going to be kicked out of your country. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And next up, we can welcome Mipet 69 and say hello and ask her what her thoughts are on everything. So, Mipet, how are you?
Hi. Yeah, my alarm decided to not go off this morning. I'm really, really sorry. Bloody alarms, you know what they're like. It's like I woke up and
To
I
the
went,
lions.
oh my God, yes, I know, they're terrible. But yeah, what I did here, as always, it's just the shittiest situation on the planet at the moment. But yeah, Starsky he's great with the updates and keeps us, well, it just sounds weird when I say keeps us entertained, but in the good way rather than in the bad way, if you know what I mean. Okay, I'm going to be quiet now. Slava Ukraini, that's all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mipet. And next up, we have Fallacy Dave. Dave, what are your thoughts on this evening?
Yeah, great night as always. Thanks for making me feel young tonight, guys. I always feel like I'm staring down the barrel, by which I mean I'm almost 30. So thanks for that. And I learned that die means give it back, so I'll look out for that in the coming weeks. Thanks for that, Starsky. Slava Ukraini.
Thank you so much, bro. I can tell you this, like in my 37, I feel like I'm 16. Like nothing changed at all. So it just depends on, approach and stuff.
Totally.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And next up, we do have our Operator Starsky. What are your thoughts on everything this evening?
So my thoughts is that I'm very grateful for your questions, and I'm very happy to see you tonight, Dick and Aimee and Charlie and Commander and Mipet. Glad that you made it to our show, and Dave, of course, and all of our friends and viewers that were asking questions. It's a big pleasure for me to be present here with the Shills, and I think that we are doing great tonight. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's good to see you again. Good to see that you're safe and everything like that. So thank you very much. And next up, we have last but not least, Dick Dawson. Dick, what are your thoughts and wrap-ups tonight?
Hey, Putin. I just want this to come to resolution. I want us to get together on the Shills and not have Starsky show up to give us updates, but, you know, just to show up and hang out with us because that's what we do. And, you know, soon this will be over. And for the love of God, you know, Hollywood teaches us that there's a lot of snipers in the world. Would some of you just take the job pro bono and get it fucking done? You know, come on. But that's my thoughts. You know, I'm always happy to hang out with Starsky and, you know, get together. And I love the more personal moments. And I'm still getting real cringe about some of the atrocities going on. And holy fuck, come on, world. Let's get the cash together. Let's get the weapons and whatnot over there and make sure that they can clobber the orcs and get them the fuck out. What do you think, Aimee? Thoughts and wrap ups your way?
Thank you so much. It was a great evening. I want to thank everyone all for their support and their wonderful questions. And thank you for all the, you know, all the pictures that you've been sending to Operator Starsky. That's really a big help. Let's hope that we can do some more like that to help keep morale up for everybody over there that's fighting. I hope that everyone stays very safe, as safe as possible. And I just, you know, stay safe. You know, hang in there. Hopefully a resolution will come up and it will be in Ukraine's favor because they really need to. So I want to thank everyone in the chat for coming. Again, thank you for all your support. I want to thank everyone in the panel for coming as well. Thank you for handling everything so well and so professionally. Thank you very much. And I want to wish everyone a great evening. Slava Ukraini.
Slava Ukraini.
Thank you so much. And by the way, I would like to add something very quickly. So today I made this announcement of those photos and videos, and like since lunch, I think since afternoon, I have received more than 100 emails with videos and pictures, and I will definitely use those to recognize people around the world, decent people who support Ukraine, and of course to show the support to my people here in Ukraine. So thank you very much for everything that you're sending to me.
Yes, and we'll be doing some of that showing on here as well, because I mean, Samantha W in the chat, along with Starsky and everybody here in the Shills family, we kind of started that here, and we're definitely going to continue it. Also, real quick, I'm going to put up an event in 10 minutes. We're going to do a little after show hangout and just fuck around and do whatever the hell we want. But I got to run across the street and get that oh so lovely thing called beer first. So we'll get the event up right away, but I'm about to hit the button. So let's say goodnight, fellow babies. Let's get the fuck out of here. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Slava Ukraini.
See you later, y'all.
It's over. Go home.